intros, who needs them? I'm going up. And, like a fish down the toilet bowl, here I come. First thing I want to do is find where the hole hits the earth, baby. If you want to know any world edit commands that I used in this episode, the beginning of episode 4, I have a little tutorial, and I'm just using pretty much everything that I already explained in there. I want to build an area where rain could still come in, so I need to figure out where it will fit. Most of this episode's commands are just cylinder commands. If you want to know more, just let me know. I can make a quick tutorial on anything you want to see. From here, I only have a little space left at the back of the castle to build, and I want the room to be a cylinder as well, so I need to figure out where center is. Once I do that, I can remove the terrain underneath it. I also have to figure out how tall I can make the build without blocking the view of the moon from the front side. Now that I've figured out my max height, I can start filling in the walls and the floor. I'm just using a hollow cylinder command for this, and at the bottom I'm using a full cylinder command. I did this using cobbled deep slate. I wanted it to match the rest of the build, but the inside I want different. I want to try using this quartz material that's white, and there's a lot of different options. I'm thinking about going with the brick option because, I don't know, it just says wall to me. Shocker, but I'll probably use some of these other blocks in different builds or different parts of the same castle. I try using this new command I haven't tried before, which is //fill, and then I filled again a little bit smaller with air. Here I'm marking out evenly spaced blocks on the top so that I can create some details. I start by lowering the inner wall so I could start working on the details from the outside first. From here I'm creating, I don't know, crown points? I don't really know what you would call it, but I'm making little triangles all around. Now from the inside, I want to create like a half-domed roof where there's still an opening in the middle for rain to come in. So I'm creating concentric circles that get smaller and smaller as I go up, and then I have to fill in whatever holes are left afterwards. And this is what we got so far. I think the view when looking up is pretty nice. I think I might add some planets in someday, like a big Jupiter. But now we have to finish the inside. I want this to be a kind of meeting place where a whole bunch of different floors come into the same area, so I'm going to have to create some layers here. First I open up the one stairwell I do actually have. Then I go in with, you guessed it, the cylinder tool. I use the quartz brick and then air, and then I go up one block and add mossy stone wall. I fill in any of the gaps the cylinder tool didn't really work out. And then I go in and add some windows on each side. These are kind of like saving spots for any doorways I want to bring in later. Then I go in and I do the next layer, the exact same way. I come to the bottom floor and put actual doorways in on every side. And then I work on the pond. I cut out a cylinder the same size as the hole where the rain comes in. I fill the bottom with the same quartz brick, and then I fill it with water. I also changed the floor to be the same white brick as well, and I was a little bit off. Now off camera, I filled the top with water, and I decided I wanted to stream down from 4 different corners. And then it starts to rain, so we can finally see what it looks like when it's raining, which was the whole point of this to begin with. Now, since the water hits the top floor, I'm going to have to fix that by breaking some of the walls and streaming it down over. Now I want to add in some lighting, and I used the frog lights. I don't really know what they're called, they're new, but they fit the scheme, the right color. Then I go in and knock out some blocks around the edges so the light can stream through from the bottom. But then I decide just to knock them all out. Then I do the same thing for the bottom floor. Then I add lights to the outer edge of the pond. Lastly, I want to add a waterfall coming from the middle. don't like how the water just falls straight in, so I'm adding some blocks so it'll pool out in a more interesting way. Then I take them out, and when I look up, it's a little weird that the water's coming from absolutely nowhere, so I decide to add a moon to complete the planet idea. And this is what we got. It's very white and pristine, and I think we need to age it a little bit more. So first thing I'm going to do is start putting in some vines. These are globeberry vines, so they will continue to grow over time and they'll add some extra light. The next thing I do is I start working on the floors. I covered the entire floor with moss carpet to make it more green and like it's been outside for a while. Next I go in with some regular vines to put on the walls, and this will definitely spread a lot in the future. I add some more glowberry vines to both the roof and the first floor, as well as putting them just around the middle section of the hallway, rather than just on the outer edge. Then, since most plants can't be placed on any kind of carpet or stone, I put in some grass blocks. I go around and I add different things like azaleas, ferns, and torch flowers. I also add a few lily pads to the pond. Welcome to the ASMR section of the video. This week I'll tell you about our new carpets we got put in. My cat started hacking in the middle of the night, and I woke up and she was on a small table with her head hanging over the edge of the table and was about to puke all over the carpet. So I did what any good cat parent would do, and I picked her up and tried to hold her head over the small table. And who would have guessed? Cats don't like to be held and squeezed around their belly while they're puking. So then I turned and ran out of the room trying to get her to the hardwood floor that would be easier to clean. And mid-turn, she projectile vomited. So instead of puking in a little pile, she was used kind of like a water gun and sprayed the floor as I was mid-turn. And this is, I have beef with whatever company makes cat food and decides to make it a bright orange color, because you know cats are gonna puke that shit up and it's going to stain bright orange. And here are the results. I did like the white pristine, but I think this is way better, and I added some mud and moss to the bottom of the pool, but then... Oh my god, it's hideous! But for some reason, instead of doing anything about it, I'm just continuing, and I decided that it wouldn't be so white and pristine in real life if it was constantly getting smothered by rain and being outgrown, so I decided to turn some of the blocks from the white quartz into just stone or cracked stone, and then as it went down, mossy stone. And each layer gets more and more covered in moss and more gray and cracked. So, this is what we ended up with. It's something, that's for sure. Don't really know what to do with it now. Maybe you guys like it. That'd be questionable. But I've officially made it to the 10-minute mark, so this episode's done.
Bye.